In 1993, the Harvard Crimson reported that the law school faculty voted yesterday to offer a tenured position to visiting professor of law Elizabeth Warren. The article goes on to celebrate that this hiring marks an advance in the student and faculty effort to improve faculty diversity. Warren began teaching at Harvard in 1995. Then, in 1995, an article in the Harvard Crimson celebrated Warren as Native American. Although the conventional wisdom among students and faculty is that the law school faculty includes no minority women, Jamora said professor of law Elizabeth Warren is Native American. In response to criticism of the current administration, Jamora pointed to good progress in recent years. According to Jamora, of the 21 professors appointed since 1989, 10 were women or minorities. In addition, all 3 of last year's appointees were women. Then, a 1996 piece in Fordham Law Review celebrated Warren as Harvard Law School's first woman of color. On top of this, there is also a 1999 affirmative action plan book published by Harvard that appears to identify Warren as Native American. Her name is not listed, but it could not possibly be anyone else. This document is important because, as Breitbart News reported at the time, Harvard is considered a federal contractor. Its employment practices fall under the regulation of the Department of Labor's Office of Federal Contract Compliance Programs, OFCP. This compliance program requires a contractor, as a condition of having a federal contract, to engage in a self-analysis for the purpose of discovering any barriers to equal employment opportunity. A mere 13 years later, though, during her first run for the U.S. Senate, Warren claimed she had no idea she was being celebrated by her employers as the first woman of color or how in the world the school discovered she self-identified as Native American. But the far-left Politico reported in 2012 that for several years, ending in 1995, Warren described herself as a minority on a law professor's listing. It gets worse. The Boston Globe, a left-wing news outlet that basically works as a campaign surrogate for Warren, reported Monday that during her academic career as a law professor, she had her ethnicity changed from white to Native American at the University of Pennsylvania Law School. Warren also did the same at Harvard University Law School, where she was a tenured faculty member starting in 1995. Secondly, and with all the evidence proving the exact opposite, Warren still stands by her claim that her parents were forced to elope due to family strife over her mother being Indian. The only problem with this is that a marriage certificate and contemporaneous news stories show that Warren's parents were married at a church and the wedding was celebrated in the community. Finally, Warren points to her great-great-great-grandmother as Cherokee, but contemporaneous documents prove this ancestor identified as white. Meanwhile, the same media that spent most of last week questioning Kanye West's blackness, are now defending a woman, who is anywhere from 63/64 to 1023/1024 white, as vindicated in her identity theft, even as the Cherokee Nation disavows her.